Am I loud enough this time? No? No? Is this better? Okay. Thank you. So, friends, this is an offering from our caring circle, and I want to first stand in gratitude here with you in person, in heart holding the tenderness of connection within a beloved community, and in spirit walking with the ancestors of these lands and the vision that were created when the UUSO's first stones were placed. And I am a new member of the Caring Circle, and I want to acknowledge that the Caring Circle's members that are here, if you want to say hello, folks, so you know who these folks are, who have been walking with this beloved community for time and time again. And what that means is all you need do is let it be known that you are asking for service of support, and this caring circle is here for you. People are here to support you. So let's just take a moment of offering gratitude that a caring circle exists and that we have friends that walk with us. And so when offered the opportunity to hold space for this community for these full moments and to reflect on what the caring circle is dreaming forward into this new year, I've been thinking a lot about my walk with community and what it means to feel at home in a space. And friends, I'm going to be honest, y'all, most of my spiritual life has been a solo journey. I am much more comfortable with trees and four-leggeds and wingeds and water and wind, and most of my journey has been held in that space of the more than human realm. And I might also say I'm a little bit of a recluse. So being here in front of you all is a little bit of a stretch. So thank you. Thank you for that grace of welcoming. But being home in a community has really been a dance. It's been a dance between my internal world, my internal practice, and being in presence with others, being supported and held in the sacred vessel that comes from connecting, not with myself alone, but with others through our intention and our capacity to hold space for each other. So in reflecting on when did that start, when was the first time that I really felt that, I'm thinking 20 years ago when I went to my first silent retreat. I was living down in the Maryland, greater metro, DC, Virginia area, and I was a part of a beautiful Sangha that we had an amazing Sangha leader. And she's like, hey, y'all, there's going to be this retreat. I highly recommend it. And for me, I took any recommendation that came from this woman to heart. I'm like, you're recommending something? I'm there. I am totally on board. What is this thing we're doing? Because I have no idea. And so I drove out there, arrived, and beautiful. It's beautiful. Nature, great day, great weather. Everything was awesome. I'm getting checked in. And I realized this is a silent retreat. I don't know what part of me didn't hear that word silent or just ignored it, but I was like, oh, so what is it like to be in community with people where we do not speak? Where our engagement and exchange with each other is a different form of communication. And so the rules of silent retreat that I learned were, when you meet another person, eye to eye, make contact, acknowledge, take a breath, slow down and meet each other in your presence and essence fully in that moment. And maybe you if you do your hands together or bow or you can make a physical gesture, that's welcome. But ultimately, this connection was about taking time to presence yourself with another and be held in that engagement. Slowing down intentionally in each breath, whether we were eating, whether we were doing practice together, slowing down and being intentional in holding that space together. And so as I reflect on that short time I spent in that community, I realized that when we didn't have to speak, There was no striving. There was no need for me to code switch. There was no need for me to try to understand, am I achieving the objective of being the person that you need me to be in this moment? I could just be who I am. And at that time, I was someone that had a lot of heaviness in my heart. I had suffered a huge loss. I was on the edge of my grief. And I'm not sure of all the threads that allowed this to happen, but leaving that retreat, I was able to start turning toward my grief. Being held in a container where I could actually rest in my awareness and acceptance of my own state of being. Because other people were seeing me, I could turn toward some of the deeper things that needed to be tended in myself. So friends, I invite a moment of your own reflection. Are there spaces and places where you have felt that sense of being held, being seen, being witnessed, being heard? Is UUSO one of those spaces for you? And if that has yet to emerge in your life, might you bring that curiosity to UUSO? Might you bring that sense and want to be connected and held into this beloved community? And so throughout this year, it turns out I've been thinking a lot about community. I didn't realize it until I started the reflection process to share with y'all today, but it's come up in so many different places and spaces. I was sitting with my spiritual director a couple months ago, and we were musing about this. What is it going to be like to have a certain type of community? What would that feel like in my heart? What would that feel like in my being? And so I started talking about the communities that I have been a part of and some of the beautiful things that have come from being in seminary with some folks that offer me blessings. I have never had people offer me blessings before. And to hear those words come from their mouths and know that they are offering me something because they have seen me, because they have witnessed me. And they are offering generosity and care and tenderness. And when they give me feedback, because there's room for that, right? There's always room for good feedback. I can receive that feedback because I know that what they want for me is my wholeness. They want me to feel the essence and presence of myself being skillful in my means. So I ask, have you ever felt that sting of being unmet, unheard, unwitnessed, unheld, unloved? We do personal practice so that we can turn toward those aspects of ourselves that need that tenderness. I do my personal practice so that I know where my inner garden needs tending. What are the parts of me that are asking and craving for a little more care, a little more support, to know myself in that way? And when I come from that place of knowing, when I come from that place of having tended to all of the parts of me that are asking for something soft, I can bring that softness to others. And Francis Weller calls this communitas. So in our grief ritual training a couple years ago, Francis said this, and I love it so much. He says, from community, we're brought into spiritual belonging. And he calls this clan life. From clan life, we feel our innate, immutable connection to the cosmos. This is what we were designed to be. From community, we're brought into spiritual belonging. Community is a place where these relational experiences that we have become the positive experiences that we grow from, that we build upon, and that we allow to shape our lives so that the nutrients of this ecosystem is continuously reformed and rebuilt. Because my inner garden and your inner garden and your inner garden, we are a part of a collective ecosystem. I tend to my inner spaces, you tend to your inner spaces, but when we come together, what flourishes? What cross-pollination happens when we are relating with me. So, my friends, I was just thinking about what my spiritual director had asked me, and she's like, well, maybe you've described all these great things about community. She's like, well, maybe you need to create that. And y'all, I think I am coming from a totally different perspective on that. I am saying, what if we need to create that? It has never been the individual that formed the community. It is the collective, creative force of all of us coming together, stone by stone, brick by brick, dream by dream, that makes this community a whole. And so with that, I'm just going to name that the Caring Circle is starting this invitation of offering small groups. I will be facilitating in January, and we're going to be doing it on Zoom. And so, we'll hopefully do some in-person stuff later, but right now it's going to be on Zoom. And I want to name that this work of coming into community with some vulnerability can be really tender. It can require some courage. So we're going to start slow. We're going to start slow. Small groups focused around some focal topics about our spiritual lives. And what we're going to be doing together is cultivating our capacity to witness, to hold that skill of sacred witness for another, and also to allow our voices to be heard. This is what we are offering. And I also want to name, I kind of mentioned this earlier, that I wouldn't be standing here if I wasn't asked by the Caring Circle to do so. I don't know if others have received messages in their lives about whose voices matter, about who's allowed to step into certain spaces. And if that's a voice, that's in the back of your mind, like, oh, maybe my voice doesn't matter. What I want to say about that is, when I hear Errol inviting folks into the sermon writing workshop or sermon creation space, I am hearing an invitation that your voice matters. That coming here to this space is available to every single person. And why it matters is a story for another day. I could talk to y'all for ever about that. But suffice it to say, we grow and thrive when we can be seen and when we allow people to see us. So bring your voices, bring your stories, bring your lived experiences, bring that thing that you've been noodling on. Bring all of it. Because where I'm standing right here in this moment is a space where you belong too. Because this is a house of belonging.